Bhavish Aggarwal is replacing Google Maps, which Ola used to spend 100 crore rupees on per month, with Ola Maps. Let me explain. So Bhavish has been trying to free Ola from the constraints of American tech companies for a while now. 2 months ago, he cut ties with Microsoft's cloud platform Azure, moving their entire workload to their own cloud called Krutrim Cloud. And then he started offering a year of free cloud storage with Krutrim Cloud if people switched over to his cloud platform. And it looks like this indigenization strategy is actually working out pretty well for him, because he's doubling down now with his Google Maps alternative for the Indian market. Just like with Krutrim Cloud, he's offering 1 year of free access to anybody interested in using Ola Maps. Bhavish also mentioned that Western apps often fall short in India, which is something that I've personally observed many times. They often fail to provide accurate data on Indian streets and Indian traffic. And so apart from the 100 crore rupees that Ola is now going to be saving every single month by switching over to Ola Maps, Bhavish is also introducing Ola Maps to ensure that people in India have a navigation solution that's handmade for them. He claims that Ola Maps outperforms competitors in key areas of accuracy, like for example, location, search, and trip ETAs. And he's also said that Ola Maps is 70% cheaper than its competitors, which would be huge. I have to imagine that India collectively is spending a bomb on Google Maps APIs. All right, next up in the news, this person wants to build a global fabless chip company from India. And he's one of the few people who has the experience and capabilities to potentially pull this off. His name is Raja Manikam, and he started his career at Texas Instruments and then worked at Fairchild Semiconductor, the two companies that basically created the semiconductor industry, the same industry that Raja has been working in for 40 years now. But Raja hasn't been an employee all this time. He's also a founder. In the past, he built Tsolve, a semiconductor services company valued at 1,000 crore rupees. That's upwards of $100 million, which he sold to Hero Group. Then, more recently, he was leading Tata Electronics' efforts to get into the semiconductor business as well, but now he wants to get back into entrepreneurship, which is why he started IVP Semiconductor, which, again, he's planning to build as a global fabless chip company. And fabless, by the way, means that they won't be manufacturing chips, they'll just be designing them. They won't have any fabs, which is short for fabrication facilities, basically factories for semiconductor chips. And there's no reason to feel disappointed about this. Indian companies do not need factories to be successful in the semiconductor industry. Take NVIDIA, for example, the third most valuable company in the world. They are a fabless semiconductor company as well. They don't actually manufacture any chips. So here's Raja's strategy. His first set of customers is going to come from India's growing renewable power industry. Solar energy has grown by 31x in India in the last 10 years, to the point where seeing solar panels in day-to-day life here in India is pretty commonplace at this point, but there are other aspects of renewable energy that are going to require chips. Smart meters and smart inverters are a growing hardware product category in this industry, and the demand for these kinds of products is only going to increase as India transitions to smart power grids to make power consumption more efficient. And then after that, IVP will be targeting another industry, EVs, which is also rapidly growing here in India and has a ravenous appetite for chips. Now, you might have noticed that all of this is domestic, not global, and that is where IVP is going to start, with the Indian market, because international players have been serving international markets for 50 plus years now at this point, and a new entrant like IVP just isn't going to be able to compete right away. However, if IVP can find its footing at home in India, making chips for unique Indian use cases, the same way that Bhavish Aggarwal is making Ola Maps for Indian roads and Indian drivers, then IVP might just have a shot at someday going global. Now, the news here this week is that IVP has raised $5 million to start building their 20,000 square foot chip testing facility in Tamil Nadu. So there's still a lot of work to be done here. This company is just getting started, and success is by no means guaranteed. But again, an industry veteran like Raja Manikam has a better chance of making this work, in my opinion, than most. All right, now moving on to the next news item, but continuing to talk about semiconductors here, L&T Semiconductor Technologies has acquired Bengaluru-based fabless semiconductor company Silicon Systems in a deal worth 183 crore rupees. That's almost $22 million. Silicon Systems is known for their design system on chip IPs, and they have 30 global patents at this point, and all of this has been achieved by a team of just 61 employees. And L&T Semiconductor wants to use their expertise to strengthen their own fabless semiconductor business. This next acquisition, though, is a little bit less straightforward. Global IT giant Accenture has also acquired a Bengaluru-based semiconductor design service provider called Excelmax Technologies. Now, just to explain it to you, one of the big reasons for this acquisition is actually AI. The AI industry is pushing the limits of existing semiconductor technology, and Accenture wants to be a part of the new wave of AI-oriented chips, so that's why they've made this acquisition of Excelmax. All right, next up in the news, ONDC has reached a major milestone. In the month of June, ONDC passed 10 million monthly transactions for the first time ever, and of these 10 million transactions, the retail sector made up 6.1 million, and the mobility sector, which is mainly ride-hailing, made up 3.9 million. Now, one other fun ONDC related update here is that now you can order KFC on ONDC too. KFC has initiated a pilot program in Gurugram marking its entry into the network, and I'm not sure if this pilot will evolve into a full-scale pan-India adoption of ONDC by KFC's parent company, Yum Brands. We're just gonna have to wait and see if that actually happens. This is the same company, by the way, that owns Pizza Hut and also Taco Bell. All right, so now we are gonna move into the funding news segment of today's video, but before we look at how much capital Indian startups raised this week, I want to first look outside of India at an AI company that raised $300 million. And the founders of this startup are both former Carnegie Mellon professors, Abhinav Gupta and Deepak Pathak, and they're both from India. However, their company is based in Pittsburgh, and this round was led by Lightspeed Venture Partners and SoftBank with participation from Jeff Bezos himself. The startup here is called Skild AI, and they're developing the world's first scalable foundational model for robotics AI, which they're calling Skild Brain. Now, obviously, building a first like this is a very expensive R&D process, hence the need for so much capital, but I just wanted to put this on your radar because the founders of this company are Indian. Now, of course, because this company is not based in India, we won't be including them in our weekly calculation for the Indian startup ecosystem's fundraise, but this week, Indian startups raised $120 million, which unfortunately is the lowest amount that the ecosystem has raised in the last 7 weeks. And you can see here too from the graph that this is well below the trend line for the last 15 weeks, but let's go through some of the companies that raised venture capital this week nonetheless. So the leader this week was Bengaluru-based wealth management firm Deserve, and they raised $32 million in their Series B round, and they're a self-described house of investment solutions for affluent Indians. They offer mutual funds, portfolio management, that sort of thing, but you gotta be affluent. So, I don't know, I just love that. This is the definition of affluent, by the way. I'll put it on the screen here. Having a lot of money or owning a lot of things. So, if that ain't you, it's definitely not me, then I guess we don't deserve. You can tell I wrote the script for this part of the video. Anyways, let's move on to the next company here. Arya.ag is an agri-commerce company that raised $29 million. These guys are based in Noida, and they raised this in their pre-Series D round, and they describe themselves as India's largest integrated grain commerce platform. So basically, they're helping buyers and sellers find the best prices for their grain. After Arya, we have Goat Brand Labs, which is a Bengaluru-based Thrasio-style house of brands that is on a mission to make Indian D2C brands world famous, which is a mission I can definitely get behind. They've got upwards of 20 brands in their portfolio, and they raised $21 million in a mix of equity and debt funding. Following Goat, we have Kiran Mazumdar Shah's cancer-focused biotech startup Emmanuel Therapeutics, and they raised $12 million in their Series A round. And I love what she's doing here. This company is bringing breakthrough cancer treatment to India with an emphasis on affordability. They're using cell, gene, and immunotherapy to tackle cancer, and they're based in Bengaluru. I'm gonna skip down the list just a little bit here because I find this company especially interesting, kind of mysterious. I think they're in stealth mode right now. Circuit House Technologies. They raised $4.3 million in their first round of capital ever, and their website says, "We are building the next-gen Indian consumer tech company." And I love Indian tech, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they build with this $4.3 million. Next up, we have Felicity Games, which is a mobile game development studio that's made a fun-looking hidden object game, kind of like the mobile version of Where's Waldo. They're based in Bengaluru. They raised $700,000 in their pre-seed round. And I'll just say this here, I hope you guys are working on something apart from mobile games, maybe a console game or a PC game. I just feel like India has so many mobile game studios and really not enough console or PC game studios. All right, that is all the startup news that I have for you guys this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys like this lighting setup. I don't know, leave a comment down below if you think it's too much, if it's too weird. I've never done anything like this before, but I just thought it'd be interesting to switch things up a little bit. We're like into the 200s in terms of these news videos now, so I think it's high time for a bit of visual change, but I'll let you guys decide. Anyways, I'll catch you in the next one.